Last month, I got paid 721 ringgit in dividends. Dividends are one of the best ways to make passive income. Imagine getting paid a salary for pretty much doing nothing. Dividends are basically payments made by companies to their shareholders from part of their profits. When you own shares in these companies, you technically become part owner of that business. And as the business makes money, they reward you with dividends. Some companies pay their dividends yearly, some companies pay their dividends quarterly, and there are even companies that even pay their dividends monthly. The best part, if you live in Malaysia, the dividends that you receive from holding the shares is completely not taxable. Unless you make more than 100,000 ringgit a year in dividends, then you are just subjected to 2% tax. So the idea and goal here is to buy and hold enough of these dividend paying stocks to earn you enough passive income. At least for me lah. So here are my top 5 favorite dividend paying stocks in Malaysia. Before we begin, if you want to buy and invest in stocks, you can use Moomoo. With Moomoo, you can not only buy Malaysia stocks, but you can also invest in the US market as well. Moomoo is also licensed by the Securities Commission Malaysia and has one of the lowest brokerage fees in Malaysia. If you haven't signed up to Moomoo, you can use my promo code, and if you deposit 1,000 ringgit at least, you can get 100 ringgit into your account. And if you deposit more than 10,000 ringgit, I think you will get an Apple share as well. So use my promo code, I will leave it in the description down below. And yeah, sign up to Moomoo. So the first dividend company that I will be talking about is probably the dividend king of Malaysia, or what I at least consider to be the dividend king of Malaysia, and that is Maybank. Maybank is a company that holds a lot of sentimental value to me. The first thing that I did after high school was opening a bank account in Maybank. And right after opening the bank account, the first thing that I did was buy some stocks in Maybank. And that kind of led me to this whole investing journey that you see here on YouTube. Anyways, that is not the reason why Maybank is on this list and why I think Maybank is a good stock. In fact, the FBM KLCI, which tracks the top 30 companies, has most of its weightage in the financial sectors, with the top 3 stocks being banking stocks. And as you can see, Maybank is number 1. In terms of dividends, Maybank has been paying pretty consistent dividends over the years. Last year, Maybank paid a dividend of 60 cents per share with a dividend yield of 6.75%. Honestly, if I had 1 million ringgit right now, I would just buy 100,000 shares of Maybank. That way, I can earn about 60,000 ringgit a year, which equates to 5,000 ringgit a month. And that is money that you don't have to work for, and it's completely not taxable. That is obviously the goal and dream, right? But obviously, I gotta have 1 million ringgit first. If you compare these numbers to ASB last year, ASB paid about 5.75 cents per unit in 2023. If you look at ASB's holdings right here, you can see that 22% of it is actually Maybank. Meaning a large portion of ASB's dividend actually come from their investments in Maybank. But I just gotta remind you guys, investing in ASB and investing in Maybank is two completely different things. Investing in Maybank is like investing in any other stocks in the stock market. The value of it can fluctuate up and down depending on the stock market. Although it pays a dividend of 6%, if the stock goes down 10%, technically you are still losing money. In ASB's case, the price per unit when you invest will stay the same, which is 1 ringgit, and you will be guaranteed some dividends every single year, even though the dividend sometimes is not as high as Maybank. I also want to add that Maybank is not the only bank that gives out high dividends in Malaysia. In fact, nearly all of the banks in Malaysia do. Another bank that I actually consider to invest in is RHB Bank, with a dividend yield of 6% and a payout ratio of about 60%. For me, this is a personal preference. You can literally choose any bank to invest in. I think all of the banks in Malaysia are pretty good and pays high dividends. For me, I personally chose Maybank to invest in, mainly because I use their bank, I love their May app, I love their Maybank products, and I also use their credit cards. But like I said, it's totally up to you which banking stock to invest in. All of them pay pretty high dividends. Just make sure to do your own research before investing in them. Alright, so the next dividend stock on my list is one that you guys are probably familiar with, and that is Sime Darby Berhad. Sime Darby Berhad is another blue chip stock that is also in the FBM KLCI, which has a dividend yield of 5.56% and a payout ratio of 25%. By the way, there are other Sime Darby companies listed in the bursa exchange as well, and that is Sime Darby Plantation and Sime Darby Properties, but the stock that I'm talking about today is called Sime Darby Berhad, so don't get yourself confused. Sime Darby Berhad is a multinational conglomerate with operations in different sectors like industrials, motors, and even logistics. The motors division, however, is the biggest part of Sime Darby Berhad's revenue. If you didn't know this already, Sime Darby Berhad is a prominent distributor for car brands like BMW, BYD, Mini, Porsche, and even Rolls-Royce. They are known for their distribution in premium and luxury cars in the Asia-Pacific region, mainly in countries like Malaysia, China, and even Australia. Sime Darby Berhad also recently made headlines with its latest acquisition of UMW Holdings, a $3.5 billion deal which allows Sime Darby Berhad to take control of UMW's key car brands, including Toyota and Perodua. If you see this table here, you'll notice that the top 3 cars being sold in Malaysia are indeed Perodua, Proton, and Toyota. What's surprising to me is that even though interest rates are high and we are facing strong economic pressure and the cost of everything and the price of everything has generally gone up, people still bought more cars they did this year than they did the year before. About 10% more in car sales on year-on-year basis. So I think the demand of cars is going to be there, especially as we transition to electric vehicles, which I think will also increase the revenue for Sime Darby Berhad in the future. In terms of dividends, Sime Darby Berhad has been paying consistent dividends for the past few years, and I think it's a pretty healthy dividend stock. So you can probably consider adding Sime Darby into your dividend portfolio. The next dividend stock that I'm going to be talking about is not exactly a stock, but it's actually a REIT. REIT, if you didn't know, stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. Like banking stocks previously, REITs in Malaysia pays pretty high dividends as well, and that's why I'm adding them to this list. So there are a bunch of different REITs you can invest in Malaysia. There's IGB REIT, there's Pavilion REIT, there's YTL REIT, there's Axis REIT, there's KLCC REIT, and the REIT that I'm currently investing in right now is called Sunway REIT. Sunway REIT is currently worth about RM1.83 per share and pays a dividend of 5.13%. But to be honest with you guys, I personally think that Sunway REIT is a bit overvalued right now. Don't get me wrong, Sunway REIT is a good stock to invest in, but I personally think that it's a bit too pricey as of now. If you look at the all-time graph for Sunway REIT, you can see that it's almost touching its previous high of RM1.93. From my experience holding this REIT, there will usually be a retracement coming soon because I think a lot of people will be cashing out on its peak here and buying back again when it's cheaper, because generally REITs don't fluctuate much, but when it does, it's actually a good opportunity for you to sell it. If you look at my position of SunREIT right here, you can see I'm up nearly 25% holding this REIT. And just before filming this video, I actually sold all my SunREIT positions away and took that 25% gain. Because even though the REIT is paying about 5% in dividends per year, it doesn't make sense for me to be holding this REIT at its peak. I'm better off selling this REIT and securing my 25% gains and taking this money and investing in other REITs which could probably net me another 5 to 6% per year. One REIT that I'm actually considering to invest in right after this is called the Al-Aka Healthcare REIT with a dividend yield of 5.89%. So this REIT is pretty niche. It's in the healthcare sector. If you compare this with SunREIT previously, they are well diverse. They are in the hospitality sector, they are in the healthcare sector, they are in the commercial sector, they are in the retail sector. They are very well diverse with their eggs in a lot of baskets. But Al-Aka REIT focuses on the healthcare sector. I think everyone prioritizes their own healthcare and also their loved ones' healthcare. And I think the demand for the places of healthcare will never run low. We always need to go to hospital, we always need to go to clinic, we always need to go to medical centers. So the demand for healthcare places are going to be there. So even when there's a recession, people got laid off and they don't want to go out and spend money buying things, I think they're still going to prioritize their healthcare. They're still going to need to go to medical centers and hospitals. And I'm sure the demand for all this healthcare stuff is never going to run low. So healthcare is going to be number one, whether we like it or not. Nevertheless, this REIT is great if you want to add it into your portfolio of dividend stocks as well. Okay, so the next dividend stock on this list is somewhat a controversial one, and that is Sports Toto Berhad with a dividend yield of 6%. Okay, so before you guys go into the comment section down below and be like, yo man, this stock haram as hell. Yes, I have to warn you guys that this stock is not Sharia compliant, so I would advise my Muslim friends or my Muslim viewers to maybe not buy this stock. But the reason why this stock is on my list of dividend stocks is because of how much money I personally spent on this company. Even today, just before filming this video, I actually spent about 180 ringgit buying 4D numbers and jackpots in sports toto berhad. And you know what they say, if you love that company and use some of their services occasionally, you should at least own a piece of that business, so you can probably make your money back, I guess. I also did some quick math using ChatGPT and the total population of Malaysia. I estimated that there are around 3 million Malaysians who are regular buyers of 4D and jackpot numbers. If all of them just spent how much I spent today buying these lottery tickets every month, that's a revenue of 6 billion ringgit every single year. And true enough, the revenue for Sports Toto just last year was around that figure. And they have been making consistent profits as well, with a slight dip in revenue and profits in the year 2021. I think this is mainly due to COVID and MCO that time, and it probably affected their revenue as well. As you can see, the share price of Sports Toto Berhad has been on a decline in the recent years. This is mainly due to the numbers of its outlets in Kedah and Perlis getting closed down by the local authorities, which is taking a toll on its revenue and profit. The current PE ratio for Sports Toto Berhad is 9.75, which I think is a bit undervalued. PE ratio, also known as price to earnings ratio, tells you how much a company is worth relative to how much money it makes every single year. So for example, if a company is worth 10 ringgit and it makes 1 ringgit every single year, that's a PE ratio of 10 divided by 1, which is 10. Since Sports Toto Berhad has a PE ratio of 9.75, if you compare this business within similar industries, for example Magnum Berhad, which has a PE ratio of 12, you can already see that Sports Toto Berhad is relatively more cheaper than Magnum Berhad. I think the fair value for Sports Toto is around 1 ringgit and 87 cents, but it's only currently trading at 1 ringgit and 46 cents. So Sports Toto is about 21.8% undervalued from its fair price, which I think it's a good time to enter, I guess. Not to mention that Sports Toto Berhad also pays good dividend, which is about 6% per year, so maybe you can ride these gains while collecting some nice chunky dividends. Alright, so the final stock in my top 5 dividend stocks in Malaysia is in the consumer staple sector, and that is Seng Industries Berhad, with a stock price of 1 ringgit and 27 cents and a dividend yield of 3.74%. I know the dividend yield doesn't look too appetizing, but that stock recently just went up about 16% over the last month. This is probably due to Seng recently having one of the best quarters ever. And if you didn't know this already, Seng Industries Berhad is a Malaysian company primarily engaged in the manufacturing and sale of biscuits and other snack-related items, which I'm sure you have tried before, especially if you are Malaysian. So why did I choose Seng to be added into my portfolio of dividend stocks? Well, this is because I've always wanted to add at least one consumer staple stock into my portfolio of dividend stocks, and that stock is called Nestle. I think every Malaysian knows Nestle's product. They got Milo, they got Nescafe, and if you're broke trying to save money, they even have Maggi. So if you're Malaysian, you're probably using Nestle's product every single day. So in my mind, I've always wanted to add Nestle into my portfolio because I use all of their products and I wanted to, at least earn some dividends holding their stock. But upon checking the price of Nestle shares is currently worth about 97 ringgit and only pays a dividend of just 2%, which I think is a bit too expensive with such little gains. So I went on and did my research and I found the next best thing to invest in, which is something similar like what Nestle is doing, and that is Seng Industries Berhad. Seng Industries over the years has been paying pretty consistent dividends as a consumer staple stock. I bought Seng at around 97 cents per share and I've been getting and collecting dividends ever since. I'm still waiting for Seng to maybe expand to a wider range of products, so apart from their biscuit selections. So I'm hoping that Seng actually becomes like Nestle one day. I know it's going to be hard, but Seng has a room to grow. So it's a good stock to maybe just hold and collect dividends, but you can also invest it long term. And who knows, if the company does well in the future, it can maybe pay more dividends as well in the future. So Seng is in my list of dividend stocks. So that's it guys, those are my top 5 favorite dividend stocks to invest in Malaysia. I hope you guys found this video useful in any way, or maybe it gave you some idea on what stocks that you can look at. Remember, don't take anything I said in this video as financial advice. This video is purely for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research before buying and investing into any stocks, and don't just listen to me. I'm just a random guy here on YouTube. Also, if you want to buy and invest in stocks, you can use Moomoo. If you haven't signed up to Moomoo already, you can use my link to sign up. If you sign up to Moomoo using my link, you guys will get 100 ringgit if you deposit a minimum of 1000 ringgit into your Moomoo account. And if you deposit more than 10,000 ringgit, you guys will get an Apple share that's worth about 1000 ringgit. So sign up using my link. I'll leave it in the description down below so you can sign up. Also, if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, you can follow me at rotitolofinance. Shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM. I'll probably respond to you because I don't have many friends. And yeah, also leave a comment down below what your favorite dividend stocks here in Malaysia are. And as usual, hope you guys have the good rest of your day. Keep up the gains, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao, peace.